welcome to another GCR video, another little series we're doing. Did a series, what was it, just after Christmas, wasn't it? We looked at the Great Central Railway, we looked at the London extension, so south of Annesley. We started that video at the South Portal, oh well, no it wasn't, it was that air shaft near the South Portal.
That's right, yeah.
We are now the other end of Annesley Tunnel. Sorry, got Phil, got Rich, you might remember from that last series. So we're at the other end of Annesley Tunnel now. So the portal, you say, is somewhere, the North Portal somewhere over here, is it?
Yeah, it's in this vicinity, but it's been changed quite badly for several reasons. They've filled in the huge cutting that it used to come out the portal, and then just to the left, the Robin Hood line has been built and the embankment's been put on, so that's kind of also encroached the cutting a little bit, so it's quite difficult to piece together exactly what was going off here. You'll need to get the maps up.
Yeah, I think we'll just show you what's going on the maps now. There has been a lot of jiggery-pokery with this, what's now the Robin Hood line. It doesn't follow the same, they've even altered the old tunnel. What was the name of the tunnel again on the Midland?
Well, originally it was called Kirkby Tunnel, weren't it? Well, I think they call it something else now, do they?
Let's just take a moment, as we've got a lot going off here. Firstly, the blue line, that's our Great Central, or Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire Railway as it originally was. That's the line we're interested in today. Annesley Tunnel, we were at this end, the south end, in the last series of videos. We're now here, heading north. Obviously, as our Phil has just been explaining, there's no sign of that tunnel now. Don't get too hung up on the yellow and red lines here, we'll only confuse matters. But we need to point out that the yellow line, the Midland, was in a tunnel too, Kirkby Tunnel. But that's at a higher level than our GCR Annesley Tunnel. Now, when the Robin Hood line was reopened around 30 years ago, it used some of the yellow line and they built a new connection to join it to the red line, the former Great Northern. But that's a whole other story. Now back to our blue line, we've been referring to it as the GCR in the opening shots of this video, but that was after 1897. It was actually opened in 1893 by the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire Railway as part of their Derbyshire Lines push from just the south of Sheffield to Annesley. So Derbyshire Lines destined to a place in Nottinghamshire. It combined with their London extension south of Annesley to form the Great Central Main Line, and that's what we saw in that last series of videos. The GCR was on a lower level then, wasn't it? I remember that now from that last one. Was at a lower level. That's not a railway embankment, is it? That's just quite deceiving, isn't it?
It looks like one, but I think they've piled some of the earth up, and the other side you have got the Robin Hood line there. Yeah,
because we're level with it. There's literally a level crossing just at the end of this lane for the Robin Hood line. So we're standing on what would have been the cutting.
So yeah, and this was Lindley's Lane bridge that, well, it would have been originally, but it was knocked down.
Nothing here, is there? No signs.
There's no sign that there was a bridge here, no, not at all.
Maps again, and that bridge, that was a later construction, again as part of the Robin Hood line reopening in the mid-90s. It's probably a good time to point out that you'll see on the maps a Kirkby South Junction, where the Great Northern left the Great Central to form the Lean Valley extension up towards Sutton, Skegby, Plesley and Shirebrook. Now that Great Northern now carries the Robin Hood line, diverting around Kirkby, but we'll see a service passing the site of Kirkby South Junction in a few moments. That's been a lot of information of different lines to take in already on this video, and I hope you're still with us as we'll shortly have some fascinating abandoned sections of the GCR to explore. The cutting is on the left-hand side here then, is it? I wonder what they filled it in with.
Well, there was quarry workings here, and there was quite a few probably slag heaps kicking around as well. Maybe they just did a bit of, relocation of all the spoil.
What was it they filled Annesley Tunnel with? That was stuff from the St Anne's Housing estate, wasn't it? I said.
Was it? Oh, not sure about that.
I mean, there's plenty of collieries around here, isn't there, that I'm sure they could find material to fill in a little bit of railway cutting. I think we can say goodbye to that Robin Hood line, train heading for works up there. Like I say, they have done some jiggery poker with it. When it was reopened, it was realigned onto, I suppose, what used to be the Great Northern Railway alignment. But we don't need to confuse or make things more complicated than they need to. We're just going to focus on the Great Central on this video. So how much we're dropping here. We've just been walking by all that infill since leaving where Annesley Tunnel North Portal was, and look, we're dropping down into a, God, this is brilliant. Look at this, it's like walking into some kind of post-apocalyptic world, into this cutting. Incredible. All new territory for me today, apart from a few little bits that we've covered in other videos. But look at the retaining walls just on the left hand side here.
So we're smack bang where 2 went into 4. Just 2 lines went to the right slightly and ran side by side for about a quarter of a mile. That's why it's so wide.
A bit wet as well, isn't it?
First time I think I've seen it come down here where there's been no sort of like standing water.
Really? So this is good.
Yeah.
So there's a signal box.
It's just pretty much where you've come down here, yeah. And then just prior to that, the GN had gone off, but that's not relevant.
This photo on the Steaming Back to Kirkby website, this sums up what we've just been encountering. The DMU we saw going past was on the line forking to the right, the Great Northern, but these days it's rebuilt at a higher level, but on roughly the same alignment. Now we can see the size of the cutting, the signal box centre of shot, and beyond the signal box the lines are separating onto different levels, and we'll see more of that shortly. People always comment on the engineering scale of the Great Central. This just epitomises it, doesn't it? Look on this side. Incredible.
That retaining wall would go a fair way down, wouldn't it?
It's a bit wet. We're clinging to the side, which isn't much grip here, to be honest. It's a bit soft.
So the 2's gone into 4, smack bang in front of you now, Paul, and the other 2 are going to start getting higher and higher as we go down, because they're on a slightly higher level.
Little culvert, haven't we, over there? Looking what the recess is for. It's not big enough for a signal box, that, is it?
No, but it's strange, isn't it? Look, it's different kind of era in a way. It's had something in front of it because there's moss formed on all the rest of the wall, apart from that section where something must have been sat there.
And this is the cutting that we're currently in, taken by David Amos in 1982. Obviously abandoned, but before the jungle has taken hold. Taken just before the lines start to separate. I'll leave a link to the Steaming Back to Kirkby website on screen, a fantastic resource with old photos and blogs. It's fantastic to come across websites like this who keep such a great representation of the railway history in the town. Take some time, if you're not familiar with the site, to have a browse, because the presentation and attention to detail on the site is excellent.
Why has it gone into 4?
Yeah.
It's gone into 4 because the left-hand side 2 are going, you know, Great Central Main Line. The other 2 swung round and went through Sutton along the A38 and out to Kingsmill Res.
So don't forget this section of the Great Central Main Line, early 1890s, as opposed to south of Annesley that we did on that last little mini-series. That was a few years later, wasn't it? We'll refer to this as the Derbyshire lines. Built obviously Manchester, Sheffield, Lincolnshire Railway. What you're seeing here, Phil,
There's your ledge where the upper 2 are starting to get higher up, are going to branch out over towards Sutton and etc.
So are they climbing or
they're climbing? Yeah, they start to climb, or we're dropping one or other. There was a footbridge down here, wasn't there, as well?
Oh, yeah.
It was here, look, wasn't it?
The raised bit.
There's one here, look. No. Jesus.
Oh, they're on Phil. Look at the erosion on this bit of the cutting. So what's this then? See, this is a footbridge.
Well, I don't know. If you look at it, it's got supporting buttresses each side as well, look.
Yeah.
So there was something heavy on that.
So we've got different generations and maps, different time periods and maps. A little retaining wall there because we've got that line there. We've mentioned that this line split here in this cutting. Originally, there was just the Great Central Railway, and if we look on those old maps from the early 1900s. This line on the right isn't here. Look, if we go a few years later, this line appears, I'm assuming sometime after 1910. And this pier here that we can see on the original, on the older map, as a footbridge, it's not on that later map. And Rich got a theory that it only spanned the Great Central, it's only spanned the GC, it's not spanned that other GC line. It's confusing here, is it? I hope I'm not confusing you, I'm confusing myself. But it's not spanning that later line that's branching off to the right hand side. I've done a terrible job of explaining that, haven't I? Let's try again. The bottom line, Great Central main line, that other GC line I was referring to climbing to the higher ledge was in fact the Mansfield Railway, worked by the Great Central Railway. And that was opened in 1916, which is why you won't find it on those earlier maps. It served several Mansfield-based collieries, as well as those Clipston concentration sidings. Thank God you two are with me.
So the question is that climbing or are we dropping? I think that's, I don't know, that looks like it's climbing, don't it?
That's climbing, yeah.
So, building of something here, demolished. Wow, good spot, Rich.
I've never walked down this. I've always walked all there.
1, 2, 3.
It's an old...
What was here then? What was... You seen any photographs of what was here or anything? Or?
I've not seen any pictures in this cutting. There's plenty of photographs showing it diverging, the two tracks splitting up there, but I've never seen down here.
There's a hell of a lot of bricks, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's an astonishing amount of brickwork.
Well, they look like they're from a structure, don't they?
Yeah.
That's the plate layers, or into a small one, I think.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes me believe they are railways, if you look at some of them, we've got the classic blue brick outer shell, but the red ones you can see are you know, the inside of the structure. Same on this, look, blue brick outer, red brick inner. So this other railway coming slightly later then explains the different, like you've just mentioned this, Rich, explains the different type, the retaining wall, where on the original Great Central main line, over that side it was more a rugged cut through rocks. This has been constructed, hasn't it? Yeah, we've got some, yeah, you've walked past this, look. Is this, what do you think this is? That's like a light or something, is it? The top of a light?
It's like a... No, it's not a conductor,
No.
is it?
I thought it was an insulator, but no.
No, I thought it was at first.
Are
Are you sure it's not just two wheels? One wheel went there, one there. What is a pram frame? Wheels on it?
Are you just thinking it's like a pram or something
Could be.
that's been dumped here?
Could be a pram base, yeah.
Ruin the dream, Phil.
I don't know, what do you think?
I don't know, we never know. It seems a little coincidental, it's amongst, again, a massive assignment of bricks, doesn't it?
True.
And it was kind of buried in amongst them, so whatever it is, it's old, you know. This is my favourite type of disused railway setting here. I love old cuttings like this, especially old cuttings that haven't been sanitised and, you know, no doubt when you start scratching beneath the surface what you'll find in places like this. Absolutely astonishing. What are you looking at here, Phil?
I was looking at them coping stones.
Coping stones.
That's the end of the...
There's a bridge or something.
It looks like a coping stones start off from a bridge section. I mean, there is a couple of bridges just in front of us, but we're nowhere near there yet.
It's definitely got that the dressing on top, you know,
Yeah.
where it's...
And those next to it, are they sunk or...?
Curious.
I mean, when I've looked at old pictures, they look similar level, the two deckings that go over, but obviously this one's going to be higher, isn't it? Yeah, it's dead easy now. Now you've seen it. Look, 1, 2 tracks there, 2 tracks there.
So what's this going over then, this bridges?
The both going over here, Pie Bridge to Kirkby line.
All right, is that just underneath us
Just there, yeah, they're about to go over 2 deck spans.
Right. You can see the elevation, how these 2 lines have separated, look. You can see it now, we've got up to the side, look. And so we had a bridge over here, we can see that on the maps. We had 2 bridges, those 2 railways running side by side. Here's that line. So this is a line that goes over from Pie Bridge through Pinxton, comes out on the Robin Hood line at Kirkby-in-Ashfield, just down there, freight only line.
And as a footnote to that, the trail at the bottom there is the Pinxton-Mansfield tramway.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it ran alongside it where they didn't build over it when they built it, turned it into a standard gauge line.
Yeah, another layer of history there.
Yeah.
Not much. So what were these bridges? Were these like girder deck bridges?
Decker bridges, yeah. And then embankments all got ploughed away, which we'll get to when you get into the open void there.
Incredible, yeah. You can see over the other side. There's nothing the other side, is there?
You pick up the track bed with all the foliage off the trees. You can't see now, but if it was clear, you'd see where the track bed sort of continued on to Kirkby Bentinck.
This is the old tramway. Was it Mansfield and Pinxton?
Mansfield and Pinxton, yeah.
And look, I'm just walking under where the bridge was, where the Great Central went over, just to see if we can see anything. Some masonry there. I don't know if that's related to the GC.
There is down here a weird sort of structure. I don't think it's anything to do with.
Oh, is that like the water cascade?
Yeah, that water thing, yeah.
I think I've seen that on some of the videos, yeah. Interesting. So we've just crossed over the railway line there, that line that I mentioned before that goes through Pinxton and out towards the Robin Hood line. So the Great Central Railway is somewhere over there, coming over here. So this is astounding. Where's the track bed here?
We're completely lost until those trees up there, just to the left of that telegraph pole line. That's where we'll pick up the track bed again.
It's completely gone, hasn't it?
Yeah.
No trace of that. Looking back, we were just stood somewhere there, over there where them trees are. The Great Central main line swept right through here then. And through there. That's incredible.
And that's it there.
That's incredible. Where has that embankment gone? That's just, you'd never know, would you? You would never know. Completely erased. So this bit of embankment survived then, hasn't it, thankfully?
Anything's welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see it. I'm assuming this is this infilled here? Yeah. So this is a footbridge.
So that was a path, and I suppose at one time of day it went up slightly and over the line. Obviously the public footpath was kept, but now they've just diverted around it, look, for some reason.
And that sign's still taking you over that bridge.
Yeah, we've got that yellow arrow there.
Yeah, the old
Oh yeah, yeah.
Walk this way.
They always tend to keep the right of ways, don't they? Through thick or thin.
Aye.
Well, quite literally thick, yeah. We're stood on another footbridge here, just flash on the map, the footbridge on here. But, yeah, the infilled Great Central running right underneath our feet here. So Kirkby Bentinck, this right here would be a bridge, Churchill Hill. No, sorry, Church Hill. Churchill Hill. It says it on that road sign there. That's a bit of a giveaway, isn't it? This is a bridge, and then looking down onto the track bed there, looking north. Kirkby Bentinck Station.
Yeah, that's the one.
Was this also at one point, I'm sure on our map I've seen it, with Pinxton in the name as well? Is that this one? Because it intrigued me when I'm thinking, well, hang on, we're actually nowhere near Pinxton, are we? Really? You wouldn't come here to go to Pinxton?
Mile and a half. It's a bit of a, they had their own stations at the time this was running, so what would the point be?
You think that might be the station house?
It looks like it, L-shaped.
Yeah. But it's right next to the station, isn't it? So were these stations on here, these weren't island, was it an island platform
No,
station?
it wasn't, no. This was quite a long bridge here, and on the left-hand side were the sorting sidings, because this used to fork off to the left into Langton Colliery. On the right were the main Great Central running lines heading towards the green kind of unit down there, look, slightly upper level, and this carried on then towards A38.
As a view looking back to the bridge. We've just been stood on Churchill, so we'll be overlooking here, underneath here, all this infilled area. A bit like at Hucknall, isn't it? Well, a bit like a lot of the Great Central Railway, all infilled, all the station area and the sidings, and the line going off to the colliery on the left here. Sorry, no, this is the station house. We got that wrong. Just in fact, it's quite obvious now, isn't it? Similar design. This one's not had spray created on, but quite obviously the station house, looking at it, and we can see that on the old maps. And that's not the end of our story, but we'll wrap up this particular episode as we're leaving Kirkby. We'll continue our journey into Derbyshire next time out, searching for more Great Central Railway remains. A shout out to the Steaming Back to Kirkby website once again. Having a website like this massively helps when researching videos like this, and long may they keep celebrating their local railway history. And thanks to all my channel supporters and channel members. Hope you enjoyed it. It's always a pleasure to cover the GCR, and especially thanks to Rich and of course Phil, or the Dolph of Derbyshire as he likes to be known this month. And we'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra!